Good afternoon. Welcome to the banks of the River Mole in Cobham, where you're joining a crowd of, I'd estimate, at least 300, and that number is steadily growing as locals and visitors alike make their way from the Leg of Button Field, where we've all been celebrating Her Majesty's Platinum Jubilee in fine style. And we're here to watch the final item on today's programme, organised by the local Conservation and Heritage Trust. This year's running, or should I say floating, of the now legendary Cobham Duck Race, generously sponsored as it has been since the first race began in 2005 by Knight Frank. Now, this event is traditionally held in September as part of our National Heritage Day, but to mark this 70th year of our Queen's record-breaking reign, the Trust decided to bring it forward to this weekend in early June. And right up to the last minute, visitors to these local celebrations and those further afield who've been able to buy their tickets online this year have been securing their stake in this year's race. And in so doing, we're supporting the work of the Trust and the several local causes now brought together in the Cobham Combined Charities organisation. The process is quite straightforward in concept. Thousands of rubber ducks driven towards a finishing line by the current here in the River Mole. But as those of us very familiar with this tradition, the forces of nature can be noticeably fickle, and the directions in which the river's flow can push the individual competitors is hard to predict. It can so easily result in early retirement, usually for the duck that people like me have put their money on. Now, I'm keeping an eye open at the moment for Radio Surrey's drive time presenter James Cannon, who will be the one keeping those on the bank well briefed on how things are going, whilst I have the pleasure of your company in this little bit of duck race history. For the first time, we're going to try and cover these fast-moving events here in Cobham with the help of a pioneering team of intrepid camera operators, and as I hope you can see already, they are streaming their digital images so that all of us, in theory, wherever we are in the world, can share this local experience as it happens, thanks to the internet. Whoever thought tomorrow's world would one day look like this? So my fingers are crossed that we're reaching you loud and clear. And for me, ladies and gentlemen, this is real first-time stuff. Well, right now we are almost at the time for the start of the racing. The Trust's volunteer officials are in place, and I hope they're ready to start the Kings and Queens race. This is a short sprint by large-scale replicas of the thousands of tiny racing ducks that will compete in the longer main event around 4 o'clock. There they are. Each of the big ducks in the sack carries the hopes of local individuals and organisations who've generously donated to the Heritage Trust's good causes for the privilege of urging their duck onto the finishing line across the river, which is just in front of Cobham Pier, the platform built by the Trust at the bottom of River Hill. Usually this part of the river is well populated by real ducks. There's at least one family living here with their chicks, Egyptians and mallards, and actually a small family of swans. Perhaps it's the crowds that have persuaded these genuine local residents to move somewhere else this afternoon. Or perhaps they've seen this sort of thing before in previous years. And there's the hooter, the start of the first race at 3:50. And I'm beginning to realise that this commentary business is actually quite tricky, because though I'm sure true rubber duck lovers will tell you that they can recognise their bird amongst all the others, the reality has to be that no one can be sure which one has won the race until it's lifted out of the water and its number, marked on its bottom, is confirmed. So, though there may be some cheering when the winner reaches the line, It'll take the judges a little while before they can publish on the platform and then on the Trust's website the number of the winner of the Kings and Queens, together with the name of whoever donated to allow it to enter. Getting results is definitely a bottoms-up business in this game, but that makes it all the more fun. In the water at the finish line should be James Davenport, who heads up the local offices of the race sponsor Knight Frank, together with our local MP and currently Deputy Prime Minister, of course, Dominic Raab. James is doing a current job. Is he getting in the way? Will there have to be a recount? No. The pack is opening up. It shouldn't be too difficult to decide who's the winner in this comparatively small race, whereas the big one might be a quite different kettle of fish, but we'll know that in a few minutes' time when it starts at 4 o'clock. We can bring you the news of the results as quickly as we can, but they will be put on the board on the platform and presented on the Trust's website just as quickly as possible. Yep, enthusiasm is breaking out. There is a clear winner, and it is being picked out of the water. Mr. Raab himself. Well, I have to say, who better to see fair play than the current Justice Minister of the UK? Some discussion, but the difficult decisions will have to be made when all the checks are carried out that the ducks were legitimately entered and their winners can be identified. Well, this has been a remarkably event-free event. The okay. Is go to the briefest of intermissions whilst the judges carry out their difficult judging work, and we'll be ready to introduce the major event, the Cobham Platinum Jubilee Duck Challenge, at 4 o'clock. And welcome back, and we're all set for the major event of the afternoon, the long duck race for literally thousands of tiny, well-primed rubber ducks in the weir at Cobham Mill. They've got to go a lot further than the kings and queens, and a lot more is likely to happen on the way. They're overseeing the event the Mayor of Elmbridge, Councillor Simon Waugh, and his job was to ensure that the dispatch into the river was as efficient and smooth as possible, and no one can doubt that that wasn't the case then. The armada of Cobham ducks, the rubber variety, makes their way downstream towards the pier and the winning line, and the record books for the winner. Now, one of the obstacles that these competitors will have to negotiate gets bigger every time this race is run. In the middle of the main channel that they are now making their way towards is an island, and it's been growing ever since this race started back in 2005. Over the years, with reeds and water plants, it's grown as they thrive in the waters of the Mole, and they've created what is effectively an increasingly large traffic island. Now, in previous years, it's been noted by the experts of these things that these ducks who are persuaded to take the left-hand channel round the island have not had as easy a time as those pushed by the current into the channel on the right. But as I was saying, the island has been changing shape and enlarging throughout all these years, and I've no doubt that interested parties will be keen in 2022 to note whether the right-hand channel remains the better route to follow. Well, there you can see for yourselves that the ducks have learned too, because the majority of them are making their way clearly to the right of the island. And in front of them there is a willow tree on the town bank of the Mole, which will certainly provide another opportunity for nature to separate the winners from the also-rans. But perhaps it was the heavy rain that Surrey experienced this morning, certainly in the reaches of the river upstream from here, that should provide more than enough current power to allow the winners to show themselves very quickly. Past the willow, coming into the sight of the crowd, it must be 450 strong now, waiting to see who's going to cross the finishing line. James is in the water, in his waders, specially kitted out, but I'm prepared to bet he's got a pair of long johns underneath. The water in September might just be a little bit warmer than it is on this spring day in early June. And waiting on the winning line will be the Deputy Prime Minister and Mr. Davenport. Now, here's an interesting exercise. We appear to have been joined by, could it be Her Majesty herself? Certainly a nice hat. What you're looking at is an ingenious first-time outing for what the boys here call the duck cam. On board is a rubber duck suitably clad for the occasion, but not for racing, who's now going to get in amongst those coming down the course as they approach the finish line. Well, we know Her Majesty wished us all well in her letter that was read out to us from Leg of Mutton Field, and we have a winner. Yes, they're all being passed up there. That looks like our vicar in Cobham, Mike, checking fair play. Well, come on, sir, they've come from a good source. Oh, and there's going to be a problem with all the quantity, but out come the numbers. The results will go up on the board in the platform when they're ready to declare that they actually have a genuine winner. And we're left with the interesting pictures of the ducks that might have been, but simply couldn't make it. One thing I've learnt as an observer of these races over the years is that the right channel remains the way to go round the island. There's a big job now, of course, to clear the river of all the ducks that can't be picked out because they didn't make the finishing line. But that's the job of a group of volunteer local cadets who will be spending the next hour or more paddling around or punting their way around, clearing the banks of the rubber ducks so that they will be able to ride again next year, learning from their experience this time round, I hope. It's hard, of course, for those on the bank to know who has won, but we will have the results very quickly, and I'm pretty certain the winner will be identified very soon, and certainly on the Trust's website. The winner surely are us, all of those who've taken part in this now traditional fun here in Cobham. We are all the winners. The Trust can continue its work in helping protect what is great about Cobham in an age when things are changing faster than history has ever known, and by the Trust's donations to Cobham Combined Charities, we can play a part in helping support those in our community who most need and deserve it. Wherever you're watching this, I hope you've enjoyed your time with us here, and thanks to all who've helped make it possible. Thanks to the pioneering technical team who put it together, and I hope you agree it has been an exciting record of something we'll look forward to doing again sometime. From all of us here on the banks of the Mole in Cobham, thanks for watching. Good afternoon.